Welcome to the channel, guys, and today we're going to be talking about stigmas and Tera console. So, what are stigmas? Stigmas are like these weird stone looking things, and they drop from basically every in-game dungeon, even the lowest ones like the Abscess or Ravenous Gorge, all the way up to like Rampaging RK, Ruinous Manor Hard, all that type of stuff. Drop in all of the dungeons. However, the only ones that drop in dungeons are common level stigmas. There are 4 levels of stigmas. There's common, which is gray, uncommon, green, rare, blue, and superior, which are gold. Um, the only way to get anything besides a common stigma is you have to upgrade them. And upgrading stigmas is not exactly like gear. It's a bit different. So, you'll take a uncommon stigma, and then you'll choose which one you want to upgrade. And then if you pick up more than what you want to upgrade, you're going to dismantle the others. Like you can see on the screen here, you'll watch me dismantle some of these. But when you dismantle them, you'll get what are called Stigma Shards. And the Stigma Shards are like a little token shop. When you go into your inventory afterwards and you click on the Stigma Shards, you'll see different types of feedstock for what the game calls. There's 2 different types of feedstocks. There's the ones to upgrade the stigmas, and there's the ones to change their stat rolls. We'll come back to the stat rolls in a bit. So to change or to upgrade the stigmas, it costs 10 stigma shards to get a feedstock to upgrade a common stigma, 100 for uncommon, 2,000 for a rare, and 20,000 to upgrade a superior. A superior plus 5 is the highest stigma you can have, by the way. But anyway, you'll spend your stigma shards on those feedstocks, and you'll attempt to upgrade the stigma starting at common. And by the way, even at common, the chance is not 100%. It starts at 50% and then goes up if you fail. You'll upgrade said common stigma up to plus 5. And then what you will have to do is take a second common stigma and also upgrade it to plus 5. Now, it does not have to be the same type of stigma as the first one you chose to upgrade. As long as, because afterwards you have to take the 2 and combine them. That's how you actually upgrade it into an uncommon. As long as you make sure that you're choosing to quote unquote upgrade your original stigma that you picked, as in like you choose the upgrade option on the one that you want to upgrade, then it doesn't matter what type of stigma the second one is. As long as they're both plus 5, it'll upgrade. And I say the type doesn't matter because there's 3 different types. There's attack, soul, and defense. And that comes into play as far as like the stat rolls, which again we'll come back to in a minute. But when it comes to the base effect of the stigma, the 3 different types doesn't matter. All 3 types of stigmas give a base effect, which is the detect weakness on bosses. Basically, the detect weakness is literally just extra percentage of damage. Like a common stigma will say detect weakness 1.0 or whatever. Then you get like 1% extra damage on a boss that has a weakness to that type of stigma, which you can view in the instance matching category, and it'll also be displayed above any boss's HP bar that you are fighting in a dungeon. So the other way you can sometimes get like uncommons and rares is out of the Stigma Chests that also drop in dungeons. Stigma Chests are not as common at all, and most of the time you're still going to get commons out of them, but there is a lower chance to get an uncommon, which is a green. And I think out of the like 8 months the stigmas have been a thing, I've pulled like maybe 2 or 3 rares out of a regular Stigma chest. There's different types of Stigma chests, but the only types of Stigma chests besides the regular ones you're going to see, you're not going to get unless you either buy them from the Tera store or they pass like one out like throughout events. Like usually it's the last reward of like a 30-day login event or whatever. It's kind of hard to get those. So now going back to stat rolls, when stigmas are uncommon level or higher, they have their own stats that you can put on them, or they're randomly generated anyway. And you can, going back to the Stigma Shard shop, you can swap over to the second menu and you'll see feedstock for stat change rolls, which are going to be cheaper. Like if you're trying to stat change an uncommon, it's only going to cost 10 Stigma Shards to get a stat change feedstock. And the prices will go up respectively. But the stats are generated randomly, and you use the stat change rolls to try and re-roll and see if you get what you get. It is possible to get multiples of the same stats, although it's rare. You'll just be using a ton of shards if you're trying to go for those perfect rolls, as we say. But anyway, there are, depending on the three types, whether you choose attack, soul, or defensive stigma, then the statistical options that can be randomly given to you change, and they're kind of, I guess, related. Like defense, you're going to be looking at like aggro related rolls and stuff, whether that's doing more damage to boss with most aggro or stuff like that. And I will throw up a chart that shows the different stats available in a bit. But anyway, so uncommon only has one stat line, rare has two stat lines, and superiors have three stat lines. Again, they can all be the same or they can all be different, and it's randomly generated. You don't get to pick and choose which ones you keep or which ones you keep and re-roll. Like if you have one line that you like and one that you don't, then it's in your best interest to save up multiple re-rolls before you try to re-roll that, because you might get stuck with something even worse than what you had, and then you're going to be mad at yourself. And that's everything you need to know about stigmas. It's really just a long grind. The more you upgrade them, the higher of a percentage boost you're going to get when fighting monsters with that weakness. And the higher level they are, the more stat rolls you will have. Oh, that is one more thing. So when you get to uncommon or higher and you have these stat rolls on them that you can like get increased damage or reduce cooldown or whatever, those stats are going to take effect regardless of whether you're fighting the boss with that type of weakness or not. Like once you have those stats, you have those stats. You don't have to be fighting a specific boss. Like all of your all the stats on your stigmas will kick in at the same time. The only one that's boss dependent is the detect weakness boost, and that's pretty much it.